Everybody, it's Eric. And if you know me well, you know that this is my buddy Loki. How you doing, buddy? You want to say hi to everybody? He's like, I'm getting some love at the end of the day. That's right. I drove my bus for 10 hours today. Just got finished with a good workout. Now I'm about to sit down and start writing. As many of you know, I'm a writer of 11 books, including Uber Nights, about my 5 years of driving Uber and Lyft in Columbia, South Carolina, the Deep South, and my most recent book, BRONX NIGHTS, an epic autistic long COVID Big Apple memoir. It's about my victory and my struggle over long COVID, and while having autism and PTSD, it's been quite a couple of years. Many of you remember from my first post on TikTok, if you're watching this on TikTok, me as a stuttering, twitching, very struggling ill man. Well, times have changed. I'm completely recovered from long COVID. Long COVID's a real thing, folks. Look it up. It affects millions and millions of people. It's not COVID, it's what COVID triggers for a lot of people. And for me, it triggered chronic insomnia. You gonna get down? Wanna say hi? Well, anyways. Oh, Porge, you wanna come over here? There's my other cat, Porge, over there. He might come over here for a visit too. Well, I'm very excited to announce a new book project. It's called Behind the Wheel, New York. You can see a mock front and back cover over there with the spine. And really good news, I now have a literary agent. So unlike many of my other books, my 11 other books, I won't be posting these chapters as they go, one by one, because that's kind of the whole publishing thing, I think. But I figured why not throw out the introduction and a chapter or two here or there. So I'm very excited. And that's not my only book project right now. I'm also working on my World War II Hans Litten novel. That's the man who interrogated Hitler in court with my long-term writing partner, Debi, King McMartin. We've been working on this project for 20 some years, and it's about maybe a year away to being finished. So 2 book projects at the moment, plus all the acting stuff. But I'm really, really excited today to read to you the introduction from Behind the Wheel, New York. And if you're seeing this on TikTok, you know I posted the text the other day, but it was just half the introduction. On all the other social media, it was full introduction. So you get the full introduction today. Introduction. In the Brad Pitt vehicle, F1 the movie, his character tosses out a checklist of his driving ventures during the decade after his near-fatal Spanish Grand Prix crash. It's impressive. Dakar, desert racing, Le Mans, endurance racing, NASCAR, etc. There's a potential throwaway line in Sonny's list. Taxi driver in New York City. The audience laughs because it's supposed to. But anyone who drives for a living in the Big Apple knows better. Being behind the wheel in New York is no less exhilarating, no less dangerous than any driving career that includes champagne showers. Captaining a yellow cab or an articulated bus, or even a garbage truck or a snowplow, isn't sexy or flamboyant. These drivers aren't paraded about by Fortune 500 sponsors or glammed upon by media circuses. There's no team of mechanics, engineers, and trainers. It's just a lone human in a vehicle trying to make a buck and survive in the craziest imaginable urban circulatory system the world has ever known. I moved to New York City in March 2023, desperate to find a cure from long COVID, an illness which blessed me with a world-class case of chronic insomnia. For years, I was totally sleepless 3 to 6 nights per week. Try doing 6 days without sleep just one time, and I'll meet you for stale PBJs and plastic cranberry juice containers at the nearest psych ward. Add autism and PTSD to the equation, plus 2 congenital blood clotting disorders, and you have the recipe for a ruined life. Thank God I made it. I lost family and friends, the love of my life, my career and life savings, but at least my 2 cats, Loki and Porge, stuck it out with me. If you want to read more about my victory over long COVID, and all its terrible trappings, I recommend my book, BRONX NIGHTS. And where can you find it? Wherever you find books, but Social media doesn't like me to use that word. It's a website we all order stuff on all the time. Just look my name up. A-R-I-K, Bjorn, B-J-O-R-N. Once my insomnia was cured, I needed many months to recover from severe sleep deprivation. When I was ready to return to work, actually dying to do something other than lay in bed all day streaming Netflix and Hulu, I realized driving professionally was bound to be my saving grace. I have had an interesting career as a government program manager, public librarian, and grant writer. Heck, I even ran for U.S. Congress in 2016 in South Carolina. But I had zero desire to return to white-collar ranks. I needed something gritty, a job that reconnected me to a world that had all but tossed me wholesale into the Harlem River. I already had a commercial driver's license. I had several years of experience driving a public library outreach bus and a public school bus. I had been a late-night Uber driver in a big SEC college town. See my memoir, Uber Nights. I had even driven for the U.S. Census Bureau. There are a lot of crappy driving jobs in New York City. I know from experience. I've got things to say about them in this book as well. I had a several-month overnight gig transporting homeless people from subway stations to shelters. I ended up sleeping behind the wheel for half my shift, waiting for shelter seekers to be escorted from the mass transit depths to my shuttle. I had considerable compassion for my passengers, yet I found the need to wear 3 or 4 masks at a time in order to dampen the reek rather unbearable. Not the best gig. One night, one of my driving colleagues from Ghana said to me, "My friend, you should look into Accessoride." His ability to suffer the penetrating vapors remains a mystery to me. Many major cities have special paratransit transportation for people with disabilities who cannot use general public transportation. Buses, subways, maybe ferries if you live in Seattle, etc. That's Accessoride in New York. It's operated by the Metro Transit Authority, MTA, and funded by a variety of federal, state, and civic sources. Back to Brad Pitt. I could have become an NYC taxi or rideshare driver, just like Sonny Hayes did. But I'm glad I didn't. Being an Accessoride driver takes me to every square inch of New York City. There's a reason they call it a megalopolis. Istanbul is the only place I've been to as vast and complex. Istanbul is both Europe and Asia, so maybe it gets a few points up on New York City. Sorry, New York. There really is a world beyond the 5 boroughs. Quick note, I spell the word borough, B-O-R-O. I've seen it spelled about every way imaginable, even borough. That one cracks me up. I'm not saying Staten Island is an ass, more like the redheaded stepchild of NYC. There's also Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx, where I reside just down the street from Yankee Stadium. If you're not a New Yorker, those might be familiar names that require cartographic context. We'll tackle NYC geography in Chapter 1. Driving for Accessoride also provided me with the ability to serve others, something I desperately needed after all I had been through and lost. For many of my passengers, I am the only person with whom they will have a sincere conversation that day. Like me, they have unique needs and stories. I often find myself down on my knees in the bus, securing tie-downs for passengers in wheelchairs. I can't help but think of Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. The job is humbling and comes with plenty of grime. And I needed a good bit of that too. Also, it's an effing bus. I've lived here for nearly 2 years and I've only taken the subway 5 times. It's an autism thing. I just can't effing go down there. And by the way, in the book, it's not effing. But, social media has its prurience. There is a huge difference between driving my Jeep Grand Cherokee around the city and piloting a Ford E450 cutaway from the financial district to Harlem. It's about the Hyatt view, the sounds, the engine. Also, you're part of the daily scene. People understand the job you're doing and its important place in the New York daily grind. Also, I get to drive in the bus-only lane. We'll get to that later, too. There is no feeling like blowing by hundreds of gridlocked vehicles. It might just be 25 miles per hour, but it feels like light speed. New Yorkers take great pride in the Big Apple. especially when it comes to transportation. They like to rattle off neighborhoods, road nicknames, landmarks. We're stuck on the BQE by the Brooklyn Bridge. Where that mosaic water tower is? Yeah, I haven't ate that spot. City needs to unclog that crap. Grab a beer? Sure. Blew that paragraph, sorry. Funny thing, most New Yorkers have no clue how complex their town actually is. I see more of the city that never sleeps in a week than most lifelong New Yorkers see their entire lives. I've also witnessed many New Yorkers write about town, and it's clear they've lost all wonder of the city, especially as I behold and experience it. And we'll get to autism later too. The architecture, the urban and natural beauty, the rich embedded history, the stories the cobbled streets and brownstones tell. I'm back again to Brad Pitt. My editor said it would be a good idea to mention him at least 3 times in the introduction. God's honest truth, backed up by race car legend Jeff Gordon, driving in New York City is a welcome challenge for any race car driver. But driving a bus every day from Inwood to City Island to Far Rockaway to Staten Island to everywhere Fifth Avenue and projects in between during blizzards and hurricanes and United Nations General Assembly weeks and sports parades, that's something very few people ever get to do, or frankly, can do. After I defeated long COVID and published BRONX Nights, I didn't think I would write another book. I've written 11 so far. Some of my colleagues got wind that I was a published author, and they started asking me what my next book would be about. I told them I wasn't planning on writing another book. I had said everything I ever wanted to say. Then I had a passenger the other day, a lonely man, well-educated. He seemed eager to strike up a conversation about books and literature. I mentioned I was a writer. I happened to have a copy of Uber Nights in my backpack, and I gave it to him. I explained I had been a late-night rideshare driver in Columbia, South Carolina. One night, a naked woman got in my SUV. Another night, a family filled up my Kia Sorento, which I dubbed Rasonante, with chickens and roosters. For 5 years, my passengers were an endless string of drunken college students, rednecks, and whatever else stumbles out of a Waffle House at 2 a.m. Even an owl tried to fly into my open window one night. The man was excited to read the book and added, bet your job would make one hell of a book. Damn it, he was right. Driving a bus daily across New York City, discovering its countless landmarks, secrets, and stories, serving the citizens who need help the most, has helped me process the past 6 years of pain and loss. Why am I writing this book, Behind the Wheel, New York? Because I owe the city this book. Because the streets of New York healed me. And that is the introduction to my forthcoming book, Behind the Wheel, New York. Thanks for listening. And again, you can read all my books. Just go to that website that starts with an A and look up Eric Bjorn, ARIKBJORN. Or you can go to my website too, www.vikingword.com. See you on the road.